York to Spain. She smiled because I did not understand. Then she held out a 10-pound bag of cocaine. She said it was the best in all the land. And I said, no, 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 I don't smoke it no more. I'm tired of waking up on the floor. Hey, hey, hey. No, thank you, please, it only makes me sneeze. Then it makes it hard to find the door. Well, I said, no, no, no.
One awful aspect of this thing is that whole families have been impoverished, withholding the knowledge from the world that one of their families is an addict. But he, without sufficient money for burial, has but one alternative: the pit, where the dying go to await the end.
Cha-cha-cha.
What's the matter? Got a headache?
That's all the excitement, I guess.
Hey, I can fix that right up. I got the grandest headache medicine in the world. Here.
You mean I've been taking dope? Yes, dope. Cocaine.
Our top story tonight, cocaine.
It's become the #1 illicit drug in the United States.
Cocaine is now becoming the in drug from the Bowery to Beverly Hills.
Cocaine.
It's big business and it's big crime.
Drug enforcement agents have scored the biggest bust in the history of the Northeast United
cocaine
States.
seizure ever in the Los Angeles area.
Cocaine bust in Los
The largest cocaine seizure ever.
I think it's a menace to this country.
We are making every effort to stop it.
That's a good feeling. Makes you feel good. Like you just wake up on Christmas morning.
It's a false feeling.
I know somebody that would kill somebody for this right here.
This shouldn't be taken that seriously.
You're looking at jail time anywhere from a year to 25 or 30.
It's a numb nose. Beyond that, it's nothing.
It's a trip.
It's fun. It's entertaining.
I think it's absurd.
It's a lot sexier than taking pills.
Because it's in. It's a temptation. It's the forbidden fruit. It's cocaine.
Cocaine comes from the leaves of the coca plant found in the northern part of South America. For over 1,000 years, Indians have chewed the leaves, believing them to be a gift from the gods to satisfy the hungry, strengthen the weak, and make the sad forget their sorrows. Today, according to the latest statistics from the National Survey on Drug Abuse, over 22 million Americans have used or are using cocaine.
There are numerous methods for taking cocaine. Most popular, of course, is snorting or taking it in through the nose, but it can be swallowed, it can be mixed with alcohol, it can be injected, it can be smoked, it can be applied to any mucosal surface.
You would be stunned who does cocaine. Everybody does cocaine.
It's headlines every day, I guess, in the newspaper I read. They talk about it constantly. People are busted with it constantly. You know, John Belushi died of it. Richard Pryor catches on fire with it. You know, I mean, it's just a nationwide drug.
In the past, you might see somebody at a party with a drink in their hand, and now in feature films you see people with Coke spoons in their nose.
It's obviously more intense because of the media making it more fashionable.
Especially when you have celebrities or sports figures involved.
I went from a small amount to a medium-sized amount, meaning probably about 2 or 3 grams a week, you know, which is nothing to a user, all the way up to $4,000 weekends.
I rode to this party on the tails of somebody who brought a substantial amount of cocaine to liven up the party. Now, there were 5 Academy Award winners at the party. There were numerous movie stars and pretty ladies and models and, you know, everyone dearing and darling everyone to death. And when they broke out the blow in this little alcove that was like a dressing room and had those Hollywood-style lights around the mirrors, it was unreal. It's so easy to conceal, and you start off very discreet, but after a while, you can have a tendency to forget that it's illegal.
I read this one burglary report, and under property taken, the victim had listed that cocaine, their stash of cocaine had been stolen in the burglary.
I'd say your twilight hours are your biggest coke time, or from 2 in the morning to 6 in the morning. You have to have cocaine, especially if you've been out there for 2 days, no sleep, or you have to have something, or else all you're doing is putting yourself in jeopardy of rolling your truck. An accident. I've seen it around about every truck stop that I've known, and every driver I know is one time or another used cocaine. I mean, we have rolling pharmacies out there.
They're changing the drivers quite a bit, where they just go down the road now and they just don't care about each other or whatever, compared to what it used to be 10 years ago.
Drivers don't run around a lot trying to sell it, but they'll talk to each other on the radio and they'll ask each other, you know, would you like a little nose pack or a little swap for a little smoking dope for a little nose pack, and you get a lot of response.
Way down south of Miami town, by the Everglades, lives a very wealthy man, a millionaire self-made.
As a matter of fact, that's why I went into it, really. I went into it from the beginning on a business level, because everybody around me was doing them and buying them, and I thought, wow, this is a great way to make money.
Take a look at the cocaine man, his life is snowbound. It almost seems like happiness is what he really found.
I made a lot of money.
But every afternoon he wakes up and does a little bit more to get him off.
Everybody uses it now, except they give it a bad name down here because of a lot of the killings and stuff.
Especially in Miami.
Lo que pasa es que uno no lo puede decir porque mira, se la arrancan a
uno. No. Everybody use cocaine and sell cocaine. You need to go to the jail for 20 years.
And to jail they've gone since Congress passed the Harrison Narcotics Act of 1914, which classified cocaine as a narcotic, subject to the same penalties as opium and heroin.
The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, we have a search warrant. We're entering. Freeze, don't move.
We found it!
The federal government alone spends over $1 billion a year enforcing the drug laws. And over 25% of the prison population is serving time for cocaine and drug-related crimes.
I'm 26 years old. I'm serving 2 10-year sentences, running concurrent with a 10-year special for sales of cocaine, conspiracy, possession. Most of the people I dealt with are anywhere from 30 to 60 years old. They're well-acquainted business people in business. A lot of them had different forms like restaurants, jobs, owning businesses of their own.
There's not an evil stigmatism attached till you get to court. Till the guy comes out and he says, the entire United States of America versus you.
I got a ride home with somebody, and I happened to get right home, and he gets pulled over for I don't know what, and he had cocaine on him, and they arrested me too. And he had it on him, and it's very sad that somebody's got to, you know, society life has to put somebody in this cold world, like being in a desert by yourself with nobody there, with nobody to help you, nobody cares, you know.
I don't think that coke usage is a victimless crime because in the drug trade itself there's a lot of violence. There's a lot of killing for profit. There's a lot of rip-offs.
I've had many forms of risk myself in the business. I've been knifed to the arm once when I was in South America.
When I was still face down in the street, this cat put his foot on my neck and put that gun to the back of my head and he cocked it.
Been kidnapped a few times. I've had guns pulled on me numerous of times.
And I remember thinking real quietly, kind of mellow, I'm gonna die. You know? It was kind of a release too, you know? I felt like, well, at least I won't have to go to jail.
No, the worst thing about it is being ripped off by your friends. That is absolutely the worst thing about it. And when it comes to drugs, friendship stops.
Nobody's a brother in the cocaine world.
How many packages? There's 10.
The amount of money attached to cocaine is so unbelievable at any level, from top to bottom. From the gram dealers to the pound dealers to the kilo dealers, it's a seller's market.
200,000. 1,500. 25 and 75.
Altogether, I probably made up to, in all the times, maybe $2-3 million, without counting my expenses, etc.
In terms of business, the cocaine trafficking amounts to about $35 billion of an estimated $79 billion of the total narcotics trafficking in the United States.
As far as enforcement, it's definitely a problem, but it's a problem in that it's very difficult to detect.
Captain, that was your last set of warning shots. That was your last set of warning shots. As much as I dislike doing this, I am going to have to fire into your vessel.
Please, stop.
Tell him to stop and I will stop.
All right. Getting hit. Got smoke. Woo! All right!
When a passenger arrives here, they go to what we call a primary. At that point, we do a document check and ask the passenger routine questions.
Did you visit sir outside the United States?
I was in Bolivia for a short period of time.
We had one person that really didn't come into customs because the person died on the aircraft. That it was a swallower that had a large number, I believe around 170 balloons ingested. And each one is about the size of a large marble. One of them broke, and the person died instantly.
I personally know of at least 4 cases in which I'm pretty convinced the people died from their chronic use of cocaine, not from an acute cocaine overdose, as in a plastic bag dissolving, that they've swallowed, while smuggling it in at an airport, but more from the chronic, repetitive usage. And you'll see people who, in their 20s and 30s, dying of a, quote, heart attack, unquote.
For every cocaine-induced death we see, where there are perhaps 10 or 15 deaths in which the cocaine is found incidentally. The usual victim is a 26-year-old male, and he generally has snorted the drug or he may have injected it, but either way he goes for about 30 to 60 minutes with no particular problem, and then without warning goes into grand mal type seizures, and this is rapidly followed by respiratory collapse and death. If a person is going to be using it fairly heavily or especially over a period of time, they can get either reverse tolerance or lose their tolerance for cocaine, so that what was a safe drug today could in fact become a lethal drug tomorrow.
You getting all jittery because we're talking about this, right? And I'll tell you what, I could freak him out, man. I seen my friend take a shot, man. We all sat in the same room, about 5 of us. But when he shot his arm, it was just before I had gone to stick the needle in my arm. He just went out, man. I mean, he went out. His arm got a big hole in it. Blood came from his eyes, his nose, and his mouth. He OD'd because someone put battery acid in his syringe. And that's sick.
Look at, see where your see where your see where your points at. See where your points at. Is it straight?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. A little high. You watching, Gary? Yeah. So.
Yeah, you know what I like about it is the taste and the rush when it hits your nose and your mouth, man. It tastes so good.
Oh, yeah.
And then your ears, they start ringing, and then you just start tweaking out, man. And you just start... I had a friend who used to bounce off walls, look under doors, because he used to think everything was going wrong.
If you're a person who is willing to go to excesses and deny the dangers of something to keep feeling good, the exotic masturbatory quality of the always available, always reliable, good feeling that requires no other person, requires no complex interpersonal relationships to be resolved, it's there.
You never know what you're getting. You see what I'm saying? When you're buying it, you're taking a chance altogether.
As a matter of fact, many of the adulterants that are added to cocaine are added to give people the effect that they think they should be getting from cocaine.
Even these sensations, which could be thought of as very negative, are very often perceived by the user as quite important and positive.
I call it the hamburger helper, if you will. They add bulk, they have appearance and color. They also add special effects.
The physiological effect of cocaine really is
that of what we call a vasoconstrictor in medicine. It tightens the blood vessels. Now, for years, cocaine has been used medically in a dilute solution because of the very pharmacological effects of causing anesthesia and also constricting blood flow. So we use it very effectively in surgery in a dilute solution. The problem we see in a nose and throat office is that of acutely the inflammation in the nose, and chronically this kind of tourniquet effect, this gangrene inside the nose, this dry rot of a chronic user, which ultimately causes a perforation of the septum. This is an X-ray of a patient who had snorted some cocaine, perhaps cut with anything from powdered sugar on through to a laxative, and developed a fulminating infection inside the nose. It was inhaled through here, it got in here, it fermented, it infected, causing symptoms, bleeding, crusting, whistling. The membranes are irritated, they're weeping this purulent, infected material. It's pussy, it absolutely looks like a garbage heap.
You just can't let it take a hold of you. You can't let it grab you and take you, you know. It's a good drug, though.
They're too good. They're literally wonderful. You can do anything, you can be anything.
Anything that takes you up fast lets you down faster. And anybody who's done drugs always knows that the re-entry is harder than the takeoff. Something coming in from outer space got a chance of burning up. It don't have no chance of burning up on the way up. Boom, it's gone.
For every high, there has to be an equivalent low. That's the law of the nervous system.
It's coming down that you got to have the brakes. It's coming down you don't want to burn up in re-entry.
So you got to drink a 6-pack of beer so you can finally pass out, or you got to take a Seconal, or you got to take some sort of a downer.
And then you end up maybe taking another couple lines just to sort of balance it out.
And they know that this low can be cured by another fix of cocaine. So that's the second trap. The third is the fact that after a cocaine run of a few days, you come out of it exhausted and depressed, very depressed, sometimes suicidally depressed, and that requires more cocaine.
And you got 1 million people out there burning up in re-entry, doing this. Do-do-do-do-dun, do-do-do-do-dun, do-do-do-do-dun. I'm not addicted. Do-do-do-do-dun, do-do-do. It's a plaything. Do-do-do-do.
And the fourth and final trap that the heavy user is into is the fact that cocaine exhausts the reward centers of the brain. And even ordinary pleasures, sex, food, other people, all enjoyments are no longer fun. Only cocaine is left.
You see that cocaine is not just another drug, and this is not just another drug fad. Cocaine is a very unusual drug.
A monkey will bar press work for a cocaine reward and continue to bar press for thousands and thousands of times, even though it's dying of hunger and there's food in the cage. It will prefer cocaine to the food that will keep it alive. It will prefer cocaine to a receptive female. It'll prefer cocaine to water in the cage, even though it's dying of thirst. This tells us, I think, what it is that the human sees in cocaine. It's the greatest reinforcer of all.
In the older definition of addiction, one needed the phenomenon of withdrawal, physical withdrawal symptoms before a drug could be identified as addictive. Today, however, newer definitions would indicate that cocaine is indeed a very addictive drug.
But I really knew what kind of trouble I was in with this drug is when I went over to my former wife's house to see my children, to take my turn with watching them while she got away from the house and did something. We'd play hide and go seek. And I say, Ronnie, you want to play hide and go seek with Daddy? Luke, you want to play? Yeah, they just loved it. They wanted to play hide and go seek with their daddy. Well, their daddy would play hide and go seek with them, but their daddy'd say, okay, now, honey, go and blind your eyes. They'd go blind their eyes, and Daddy'd be sniffing. And if you don't think that makes you feel really bad, it does. It made me get down on my knees that night and pray to God, help me. I need help because I can't stop.
These people, by the time they get to me, are already beginning to forget the names of objects, begin to forget telephone numbers and dates.
You forget yourself, forget what you're doing, you forget your friends.
If you can do one line
and use it recreationally, God bless you. I haven't met anybody who can.
The drug that was once a cure-all now needs to be cured. In fact, treatment centers across the country now promise as many cures for cocaine abuse as the number of ills cocaine once promised to cure.
We have a large number of middle-class people coming in for treatment as a consequence of their compulsive abuse of cocaine, and saying basically, if this drug is so benign, how come I can't quit?
Some of our patients that are coming in are bus drivers, postal clerks, they work in assembly lines.
Stockbrokers and CPAs. Professional people, business people, theatrical people.
Minority groups, poor people, people with mental problems, people with criminal behaviors.
Attorneys, doctors, dentists, housewives.
Whites especially. And also students. A lot of students.
Close to 70% of the patients that are coming back are people whose primary drug problem was cocaine.
They're compulsively spending all their money, they're disrupting the family.
One young woman that we've been working with now for a couple of years spent $120,000 in 1 year. Her whole inheritance went to cocaine freebase.
I just spoke to a chick the other day. Her and her old man are working full-time. They ain't got a dime. Their nose is getting it.
Cocaine can be treated, but it's very difficult. There are a lot of failures. People slip back, but they have to be retreated again and again. They have to stop using. That's number one.
Everybody that I knew did cocaine. It was more unusual to know somebody that didn't do it than somebody that did do it.
They have to get away from all their cocaine-using friends.
I have very, very few friends that do drugs now.
You see all these movie stars quit, and then they go on television and talk about it for 10 years. I was so addicted. I spent $30 million. It's so terrible. It's so evil. I'll bet dollars to donuts 2 years later they're back.
They frequently will say, gee, I only did it once 3 days ago. And when we look inside the nose, it looks absolutely like somebody lit a match.
My nasal passages, all the membranes were blown away. I'd blow my nose. All I'd get was blood.
A lot of people don't even believe they have it. And what we do for them is put a rubber tube up one side of the nose, put it through the perforation, and pull it out the other. And that's pretty dramatic. Then they believe.
The effects on the body, to me, are insignificant. The hole in the nose, even the high blood pressure and the increase in heart rate, these may not be important at all. What is disastrous are the effects on the mind.
At this time, we don't know specifically what cocaine does to the brain, but based on what animal studies and human studies are available, it would appear that cocaine, when taken on a regular basis, depletes at least one of the brain's major chemicals. The depletion of a chemical in the brain is one of the most devastating things that can happen to an individual, because we have some animal data, and now we are collecting some human data to indicate that that depletion may be permanent.
But the real question is, why is it the fastest growing pleasure drug ever recorded on the American scene? Why the myth? Why the reality? Why cocaine?
And if there's anything I think that culture may be doing, it has a meaninglessness about it. And therefore, people can't tie into many things that make them feel important, that make them feel good. So what do? They have to go in very unnatural ways to try to get some meaning, quick ways.
The reasons why people do cocaine are probably different than the reasons why people do the other things that they use to alter their state of being. But basically because nobody likes who they are, where they are, or what they're doing.
The use of drugs, cocaine in particular, but drugs in general, is of course a general part of our own modern, I think, dissatisfaction with life in some ways. That is obviously some form of escape.
You do whatever you have to get you down the road.
I do believe that cocaine, the phenomena, comes out of the sort of life that we live today. Everything is fast. There's fast food, fast cars, and instant on the TV, and people are looking for instant kind of experiences, and cocaine provides that.
I think part of the pleasure involved here, like Prohibition was years ago,
like marijuana was some years ago, is the excitement of doing something unlawful. For some reason, our people seem fascinated with that.
If it's legalized, it would take the fun out of it.
It's my prediction that in time to come, I don't know when, I think cocaine is going to go away. I think the epidemic we're seeing will fade out and disappear. And I say this because exactly 100 years ago, there was a cocaine epidemic that faded away because people were overdosing, people were getting crazy, people were becoming compulsive users, and society started withdrawing from it.
I've been drinking good whiskey. Lord, I've been snorting cocaine. I've been drinking good whiskey, Lord, and I've been snorting that fine cocaine. Look like white crystals in the night. Oh, baby, you know I think it.
How's that?
It's gonna make you feel all right.
Why, that's marvelous. I feel better already.
I got them cocaine blues. I got them cocaine blues.
Now, in the narcotics section of the archives, just to give you some of the headings, there's narcotics lore, of course, and there's drug users' anecdotes.
I stayed up 8 days freebasing.
Being arrested.
I guess if you're a criminal, you get treated like one. But I'm not a criminal.
Folklore of drug dealers.
Living out of all the fantasies and, you know, thinking you're a big-time gangster.
Big section on folk speech, lots of folk speech.
I mean, I can't tell you, I haven't ever did a one-on-one after a meal.
Adjectives denoting pleasantness.
It's like floating. It's like being on a real gentle roller coaster ride.
And finally, how to become clean.
Ready or not, here I come. Ready or not, here comes Daddy, blown away.
Oh yes, and the section on injections.
You can actually, you know, you can hear that buzz. I mean, when you say you're going to get a buzz, you hear that buzz.
One of the most popular pieces of cocaine folklore that I was able to unearth is a song, and I will not attempt to sing it, but I'll give you the words because it's actually a song that, even though a student turned it in 1974, I myself remember hearing this in my own childhood in upstate New York in the 50s, late 40s. So here are the words. Some of you may even know this. Goes, oh, Morphine Bill and Cocaine Sue went strolling down the avenue. Oh, honey, have a on me.
It's absolutely overblown. It's the most ridiculous concept ever. It's an illusion of an illusion.
How cool can you possibly be after you stick that stuff up your nose?
Looking for a drugstore just past Maine, looking for a place to buy cocaine. Oh, honey, have a on me.
It's, I think, a very sick drug.
Yeah, I know this guy's like a zombie now. He can't even hardly talk or anything.
I've had a few of my customers literally go down the tubes. I've taken everything.
Looking for a drugstore painted green, looking for a place that sells morphine. Oh, honey, have a on me. And in a graveyard on a hill lies the body of Morphine Bill. Oh, honey, have a on me. And in that graveyard by his side lies the body of his cocaine bride. Oh, honey, have a on me.
You said it was this morning when you last saw your good friend lying on a sidewalk with a misery on his brain, stoned on some new potion he found upon the wall of some unholy bathroom in some ungodly hall. Did you say you saw your good friend flying low, dying slow, blinded by snow?